It's a football Friday, ladies and gentlemen.
So was last night a big injection of energy, excitement, commitment, discipline, comeback? I mean, it's some fun stuff.
It's good to have football back on TV where it matters, and it's awesome. Great to see people in the stands and feel the energy happening around the country. There was some great games last night, so it's nice to have football back.
So if you haven't noticed, it is National College Football Colors Day, so I am proudly wearing my Gator stuff.
I mean, I don't know that I'm proudly wearing my Florida State stuff, but I'm wearing it.
So, for you to jump into the mix playing Notre Dame is balls, brother.
So we're excited to have Coach Wannstedt on today, but Coach Wannstedt was just talking about Miami. Miami starts with Alabama, and and I was a part of this at Florida State, where at some point you have to be able to line up and compete in these kind of games. Like when I was in 2009, when we went to Oklahoma, we were not prepared to line up and play in that game, right? That was a boat race for us. You came to that game, right? But then the following year, they came to our place, and you saw the growth in the program. We didn't win that game, but we took them to the end of the game, and that was a real determining factor for us of, okay, like we've made progress. And then obviously, went on to win a national championship a few years later. But those games are the markers, and same for Minnesota last night.
So and you never really know.
Yeah, you don't know until you play it. You don't know until you play it.
You have no real clue.
So Shay, give me some startup music for Coach Wannstedt. Then I'll introduce him, and we'll get right in the mix.
Are you ready? Hey. Are you ready?
I love it.
So I am super, super proud to introduce my friend. He's like the coolest guy in sports by far. I had the pleasure of working with him when he was with the Dolphins. He's now an analyst for Fox, an analyst for Big Ten. He does stuff with the Chicago Bears. Please welcome our friend and the Huddle right from the start, Coach Dave Wannstedt.
Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you. I watch you guys in the morning. Sometimes when I'm sitting here or driving, depending where I'm at, I'm all over the country, as you know. But you guys do a great job. Absolutely. Steve and I go back, 20 years now, probably, right? I mean, it's a long time. Steve, I did not know that you actually got a degree from anywhere.
I did not get a degree.
He didn't. Don't let him fool you.
I think we did this show last year, and you were wearing a pit shirt or something.
Listen, I go where the juice is, man. So
I was tempted to wear my Miami shirt, and then I told you, I was reading something on my Twitter thing, and the chancellor from Pitt came out and said, "Hey, today's Pitt Day, so I do have my Pitt shirt on." But I've got my national championship ring from the U on, so I've covered all the bases. I'm politically correct this morning.
Well, which is so great. I mean, you have such a rich history in college. You played at Pitt, you coached at Pitt. What a tremendous career. You now, in addition to your announcing and reporting kind of responsibilities, you speak to audiences about the parallels between football and business. We had the pleasure of doing something just before the Super Bowl. We had a in the huddle meeting, and there's Coach laying it out. And I will tell you, and Mark, I want you to validate this. We refer to the stuff you did in that conversation all the time. Mark, slow feet, slow mind.
Yeah, clear mind, fast feet.
There you go.
Don't worry, Coach. I got your back. Obviously.
Hey, Mark, get on your dad a little bit. I'm here and available. Come.
You know what? Maybe we need to do it again. Maybe he needs to hear it again to really get it to sink in. He's obviously a rep guy,
I understand.
So, Coach, tell us what's going on. It's exciting. We're back with football. There's fans. You're doing a ton of stuff, with Fox, as I said, a ton of stuff with the Big Ten. And boy, the Big Ten served us up a beauty last night. So tell us what's up.
Yeah, I do a lot of local stuff here during the week in Chicago. I do 2 big radio stations, the biggest sports time, the Score Radio. I have 2 drive time shows, and we're talking NFL, but we're also talking college. And then I do a little betting show with Dan Hampton and some Hub Arkish, some of the guys. And then I do, you just mentioned it, Steve, every Tuesday on BTN, if there's any, I'm sure there are Big Ten fans out there, it's called The Big Show. I do a show every Tuesday from the Big Ten studios. And the great thing is I'm right downtown Chicago. I'm 6 blocks from the Wrigley building, 6 blocks from Gibson. So I walk to all my shows. And then every weekend I fly to LA. And my real big job is with Fox. We do the kickoff show right before Jimmy and Bradshaw and them come on. We're on the hour before that. So tune in, 11 o'clock Eastern time on Fox. I'll give you all kind of.
When the coach says do something, you do it. Jimmy, I'm going to start out with the first question. So obviously, he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. You had the chance to go out there and spend some time in Canton. Give us some insight into what that was like, seeing one of your peers reach the pinnacle.
Well, Jimmy was fantastic. I'll tell you what he did. They have a place in Canton, Ohio. And for anybody that knows Canton, this is a relatively new place. It's called the Vineyards, and it's a winery. It's about 15 minutes outside. It's like a 5-star resort, okay, in the trees, in the woods out there. It's gorgeous. And that's where Roger Goodell was staying, Jerry Jones was staying, all the owners were staying there. And when they have the golf tournament up there, Firestone, all the PGA pros stay at this place, okay? So it's that type of atmosphere. And Jimmy booked like 10 rooms. His 2 sons, myself, Tony Wise, the line coach, who was with us at the U and everywhere, and North Turner, who was our offensive coordinator, and Nick Christian, our attorney. And Jimmy got suites on 1 floor. And I'll tell you what, we every moment that he wasn't doing something with the Hall, we were together for lunch twice, dinner twice. And when this speech thing was over, he said, you know what I want to do? He said, let's just meet back there. And they had a big campfire, and we brought in a bunch of beer and whatever else. And we sat around till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and just telling stories and laughing. And
that must have been the first time that you guys spent that amount of time together since you were on a staff together, right?
Yeah. Jimmy and I started at Pitt. I remember
right.
Pitt as assistant coaches. And then I went with him to Oklahoma State. And then I went with him to the U. And then we were together at Dallas. And so and now we work together. We meet every Sunday morning at Fox about 4 a.m. in the green room, and we have coffee. And we talk about all the college games the day before. And then we're on the air out there. I'm on the air live at 8 out there Pacific time. So I'm up anyway. But we still, I talked to him yesterday. He called me yesterday about he's got the private plane for when I was coming back to Florida, if I wanted to jump on with him and fly to LA a few trips. We were trying to coordinate schedules. So it's more than a coaching relationship, and it's kind of his inner circle guys, and that's what he wanted to do. He was going to have a big party, I'll tell you this. And then Jerry Jones actually called him and said, listen, we got Cliff Harris going in the Dallas Cowboys, Drew Pearson, and Jimmy. He says, why don't I just have a big party inclusive for everybody? So Jerry rented out this place, and it was in the stadium where the induction was going to happen. And Jerry had this area, and there was food and drinks from like 3 o'clock until 11 o'clock. So I saw Tony Dorsett and Roger Staub. I mean, all the Cowboy guys were there. Emmett, Troy, obviously. Everybody was there. So it was really a great weekend for a lot of reasons.
Awesome. Mark, question.
Yeah, so I actually want to piggyback off of that a little bit. Like, seeing Jimmy go into the Hall of Fame and being around all of those great people that he helped produce. Obviously, there were things that you must have taken from him as you were successful along your career as a head coach. What were some of the pillars that you pulled from Jimmy, or that those other guys who were great pulled from Jimmy, that other people that are listening right now could take with them?
Well, Jimmy was always a believer in, I'm going to hire people that are going to work hard, that are going to be smart, and we'll kind of figure out and help them along the way with their position. And I remember Jimmy saying this when I left Pitt, and we had Dan Marino coming in, we had Hugh Green on the team, we had some great players at Pitt.
Right.
Jimbo Covert, and Jimmy said, if you come with me to Oklahoma State, he says, I'm not going to name a defensive coordinator, but he says, I'm going to give everybody an equal opportunity. And I was like 24 years old to earn that position. And when I was 26 years old, he appointed me defense coordinator at Oklahoma State. So Jimmy was big into the Pygmalion theory, treat somebody as they are, and they'll always remain as they are. Treat somebody like you'd like them to become, and someday they will become that person.
Right.
And he really had the ability to treat everybody, from the lady or the man answering the phone or, to the top assistants. He just treated everybody that way. And now the risk of that, and he used to say, when we win, there's going to be opportunities for everybody. And that's easier said than done. There's a lot of coaches in the NFL, I won't mention names, that their assistants had opportunities to move on. And in the business world, your company's doing great. And now all of a sudden, hey, everybody's looking. Everybody wants to be associated with a winner. So they start knocking on your door to try to hire some of your people to find out what you're doing. And there's a lot of people that won't help assistants get jobs. Jimmy was the complete opposite. I mean, he lived it. I mean, if I had an opportunity, and when, not get into the schools from the Stanfords, the college teams, the NFL teams, when they called and they wanted to talk to me, Jimmy would call me in and say, hey, let's talk about this. This may be something, does it interest you? It doesn't, it, whatever. Yeah. So, that's easier said. Hey, when the team wins, everybody do their job. There'll be opportunities for everybody. Well, when those opportunities come, as the leader, you need to step up. And all you got to do is help one person better their life. And all of a sudden, that thing will snowball. Everybody around your company, everybody around your office will be looking and saying, he or she did that for him or her. He'll do it for me too. So I'm going to go the extra mile. So it works.
That's awesome. That's really great.
Jake, you want to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Coach, thank you so much. Obviously, my dad talks probably higher about you than us. You are one of his best friends and constantly coming up in conversations and lesson teachings. And you are probably the only person he would skip wake-up music for. We play wake-up music in the huddle every day, and he chose you instead of the music, which doesn't happen very often. But you were one of those rare guys who coached in the NFL, coached in college. And we talk about, as leaders, kind of how you position your message to people. Did you change the way you coached? Obviously, you probably had to a little bit, but how you coached in the NFL and how you coached in college and how you related to those guys?
Oh, I don't think you can change your personality.
Right.
I think that would be a mistake. So when I went back to Pitt after 18 years or whatever it was, 17 years in the NFL and being a head coach for 11 years at that time in the NFL, I went back to Pitt. I didn't change my personality, but my message changed a little bit because now you're dealing with 18-year-olds, not 30-year-olds, and the 30-year-olds have wives and kids, and the 18-year-olds, you're trying to steer them the right direction, in life as much as in football. So the message changed, but my personality did not.
Which I will tell you guys was the reason why I was so attracted. Like, you were the head coach of the Miami Dolphins when we met. And I was like, you didn't really act like the head coach. Like, you didn't put that in front. You were Dave Wannstedt. And oh, by the way, I'm the head coach of the Dolphins. I'm going to bring in somebody who had a question. Lori Salarillo, who is the CEO of Junior Achievement. She talked about Jimmy's speech, and he talked about the sacrifice of being a coach and the time commitment and missing family. I know how you treasure family Could you speak to that? Because I think a lot of people struggle with, work-life balance and what you do, how you do it. And you, at least from the outside looking in, mastered it. Your wife is a sweetheart. She's so great. I know she's your best friend. So could you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that the job in itself is going to take you away from some of the things that normal people do with their families. I was never one, Jimmy was never one, that we wasted time. But I'll tell you a great example. Two things. Number one, when my wife and I were talking yesterday, and we actually were just going through the calendar for things, and we got into December just looking at it, because she generally goes back and forth to Naples, Florida. And she says, oh, well, I guess you won't be with us for Christmas again. She says, Christmas is on a Saturday, and I'll be in LA because we'll have games on Christmas Day for Fox. And, so my kids to this day kid, and they said, hey, Dad, this is 40 years of coaching now. They used to say, Dad, when are we celebrating Thanksgiving? Is it going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday this week? I said, it depends on when the games are. So we had our Thanksgiving dinner sometimes on a Wednesday night, sometimes Thanksgiving, very rarely, a lot of times Friday, a lot of times Saturday. So, I mean, it's not that you're sleeping at the office. We never got into any of that stuff. Some of these young guys do that. I mean, to me, I don't think you need to do that. And we didn't do that. And we won Super Bowls and national championships without it. So, but the profession itself takes you away. Training camp is training camp. We used to go to training camp at the Cowboys. The first time we went away for 5 weeks and stayed in the dorms with the players and stuff. And that was just the life that we lived. So that's kind of what Jimmy's referring to. And now I'm making up for it, though, because I got 6 grandkids here. And as soon as I get off this call, I'm heading up north. Kids don't have school today. I got a 13-year-old grandson that we let him play tackle last year for the first time. He's 6'1 and a half, 12 and a half shoes. He's going to be 6'4", 6'5", and he likes the game. So I'm going up there, and we're gonna have some drills before he goes to practice.
You said something so important that I think people don't understand in any profession is that he likes the game. Yeah. Doesn't matter that he has the size, doesn't matter that he has the talent. He likes the game, so you can foster that passion for the game, where there are so many people that feel like they should be doing something because they fit into that role, but they're not passionate about it. So it's an uphill battle for them consistently. They have to fight themselves to make them do the things that they should be doing in order to be successful.
You know what? Your show is so good because I have talked I don't do much of this stuff. I don't have time to do a lot, but I do 1 or 2, maybe a month with team building with these companies around the city. Now it's got to be kind of limited to Chicago for the most part. But what I'm discovering is that because of the pandemic, people had time to sit back and analyze their lives, what they're doing for a living. Yep. And there's more job changes now. There's more people moving now. Yep. And you guys see it in Florida. I mean, I see it over in Naples and Chicago. I think people sat back during this pandemic and said, you know what? Is this really what I want to do the rest of my life? I've been kind of, on the cycle and not even thinking about anything, just trying to survive. Is this really where I want to live the rest of my life? So I think you're seeing a lot of movement. I think it's going to, the people I talk to, they think it's probably going to go on for another year, maybe a year and a half, and then it'll all calm down. But so your show is so important to just be talking about different topics that relate to, it doesn't matter what profession you're in, just keeping people going and keeping them upbeat and positive and new ideas, because there's a lot of transition out there, as you guys know.
Thank you. So there is one more question I want to ask you, because you hit on something that I think we did naturally in college football or in professional football with scheduling and time management. You talked about how you and Jimmy, you guys didn't waste any time. You guys knew what needed to be done. You scheduled what needed to be done. For people that are in their own space, Can you talk about being a head coach and developing the schedule for people to know that time wouldn't be wasted, and how you went about developing a schedule?
Well, yeah, I would always, the biggest thing for me, and I tell my kids this and tell my assistant coaches, if we sat down and tried to think through, if I was just thinking through everything that I had to do the next 3 days, I've got like 5 shows, it would definitely be, I call it the drunk monkey effect. Your mind is going, where am I going to be? How am I going to get there on time? And so I write it down. Yesterday, my wife laughed at me. She came home. She says, what's that? I said, that's my schedule for the week. She says, I know your schedule for the week. I said, yeah, but I got to see it visually, because when I see it, it clears it up in my mind and I can move forward at a faster pace. And you guys have heard me talk about,
Clear mind, fast feet.
Clear mind, fast feet. And that's all it is. So guys, people that got a lot on their plate, they do. But I'll tell you what, when you write it down and you really look at it and you kind of prioritize it, that's what I used to do coaching. I would come in and say, oh, God, I got 10 things to do today. Let's stop. What are the most important? Let me prioritize these things. And I would just, and it works. It works.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yes,
So
it does.
I'm going to jump in, switch gears, and talk about some football. So you're in Chicago. There is some talk about what's going on with the quarterbacks in Chicago. So I thought maybe you'd give some commentary on what's happening. And it looks like Justin Fields is the real deal.
It does. And it would be great for the Bears, great for this city. They haven't had I was head coach here for 6 years, and I started 6 different quarterbacks. So, that's just how really, that's how the Bears have been, unfortunately. And things have happened. So hopefully this kid's going to be the real deal. They're taking a little different approach than what New England's taken. They're taking a little different approach what the Jets are taking, what Jacksonville's taking. And by different approach, these other teams are putting the rookie in there now and saying, you're the guy, let's move on. Where the Bears are going to start Andy Dalton, a veteran guy, and I think they're going to play this kid some this week, and they're going to ease him into for playing time and get him in there. But everybody likes him. He seems like a great kid. I talk to a lot of people at Ohio State all the time, and it sounds like the intangibles are there. So, yeah, it's exciting times in Chicago right now because they're hoping that this could be the guy for the next 10 years.
Awesome. Jake, any last question for Coach?
No, that's it, man. Thank you so much. Obviously, every time you speak, it's
I can do this
Mark, anything?
Yeah.
I see a little spot there. I can put my picture in a little box there every day,
Thank you so much, Coach.
You guys are fantastic. You know what you do? The best thing about it, you know why I got into coaching? I got into coaching because somebody along the line made a difference in my life. And hopefully I do that and have done that and will do that for people. You guys make a difference in people's lives. That's why I love you. That's why you do so great.
Your
awesome.
Praise means the most, Coach. Thank you so much.
Commitment that we are going to try and book an event in Chicago. We have some people in Milwaukee, in Chicago. We're going to try and do something so that we can come, have dinner, smoke a cigar, and help people.
They do smoke a lot of cigars here in Chicago.
Yes, they do.
Red wine, cigars, and steak.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Guys, how great was that?
That was fantastic. What a way to end the week. I think we'll wrap it up for everybody with a post-game recap of some of the things he talked about, because the lessons of time management, the lessons of understanding to connect with everybody, no matter who they are, and treating them as the way you want them to be, not as the way they are. Come on. How do you get any better than that on a Friday? So it's really great.
Shout out to Shay.
Yeah.
For working the back room.
Yeah, making it happen. Well done, Jay.
5 squares, making it happen. So shout out to Jay.
Caval, we got to make him title sponsor, build some sponsorships around it, and do a Coach Wannstedt event. So, Keith, let's have that conversation.
Let's make it happen, Keith.
Everybody, listen, take your time this weekend. I'm going to talk about it in a post today. Most people are thinking R&R, rest and relaxation. Bullshit. Recommendations and referrals. Pack them up. Get ready, because when we come out on Tuesday morning, It is game time. Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million